It says in Tehillim, in you did our fathers trust. They trusted, you delivered them. To you they cried and they were delivered. In you they trusted, they were not ashamed. This is Pasuk Hey in Perek Chavbet. Why does it say 3 times in the Pasuk, our forefathers trusted in Hashem? And what does it mean they trusted and they were not ashamed? What does this mean? So as there's 3 levels of trust. In you did our fathers trust means that the first level trust not so strong. It comes and goes. The person is in distress, he cries to Hashem to save him. But the trust is not perfect. Sometimes he doesn't associate the miracle that happened to him. Sometimes he thinks it's maybe his doing, maybe my luck. It comes and goes. As they say, the person was walking down the street and there was a guy stuck on the roof all the way on top on the 100th floor. So he needed to get down. The exit door was locked, was closed on him. So he started throwing money and coins. So the guy got hit in the head and he said, "Oh, my luck, Baruch Hashem," puts it in his pocket, continues going. He sees everybody just keeps it, put it in his pocket, and he says, "My luck." So he starts throwing rocks. Everybody gets attention right away. "Oh, who's throwing rocks? What's going on over here?" Oh. It's very easy to fall into the trap of when it's bad. "Oh, where's Hashem? What's going on?" When it's good, yeah, you see, my luck, my skill, my atzlacha, my ishtadluk, look how much it did. Person has to be careful not to fall into that trap. What does it mean they trusted and you delivered them? They trusted because they remembered how you saved them before. As my father used to say, the God who fed me yesterday, he will feed me today. Why are you so complicated? Why are you thinking so many plans? Don't worry, God who fed you yesterday, he can feed you today. Person, a lot of times he's nervous, he has to remember how Hashem saved him many, many times before. We have to know that, imagine you would read every single day a prayer and saying how, "Hashem, I remember how you saved me in this part of my life and that part of my life." Everyone has their own Megillah. Everyone has their own redemption story, like Misraim. And you have to remember that every single day before you pray. Your prayer will be that much more powerful if you remember how Hashem saved you in the past. He can save you again. As the Renatan writes, everybody has a Bechor Tefillah. What's a Bechor Tefillah? The firstborn prayer. Sometimes you prayed, and Hashem answered you, and you had a miracle. That's called your firstborn. You always have to remember that prayer, and that'll help you give birth to more prayers, because you always tell yourself, "Look, Hashem answered me here. Hopefully He'll answer me again." He gives you motivation. It's their firstborn prayer. He quotes some Masechet Ta'anit. Over there it says in Chavdalet, there was Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa, very holy Tana. Many miracles happened with him, and he was very, very poor. Tremendous poverty he had. There was nothing to bake or cook for Shabbat. So what? His wife is not going to do nothing Friday afternoon. All the ladies, they're cooking. They're talking to each other. "Look what I made for Shabbat. Look what it is. Look what I'm doing. Look at this recipe." And his wife, what is she doing? She has nothing to do. There's no food to cook. She's poor. So she feels so embarrassed. "Oh, I'm going to sit here and do nothing. Everyone's going to see right away I have nothing to cook." So she decided to avoid embarrassment. She took random branches, random thorns, random things to burn in the oven. That way it looks like smoke coming out of the chimney. It looks like she's cooking. She shouldn't be embarrassed. So there was a very nosy neighbor, and she knew this is all a show. I know that this is nonsense. So therefore what? So then she went and knocked on the door. She knocked on the door to go check what happened to this lady, and she opened the door, and the neighbor said, "Let me go see the oven." So the Rabbi Zino's wife was so embarrassed, she ran into the other room, and she goes and she opens the oven. The nosy neighbor, and she sees the oven's full of bread. A miracle. The dough is rising. So she said, "Hurry, bring the shovel. Your bread is about to burn." And Rabbi Zino's wife said, Yes, that's why I went to go get. I went to the other room to go get a shovel. So if you think that she was lying, the Gemara says that she actually did go to the other room to get the thing to get out the bread, because she was so used to miracles happening in her house. There's many miracles of Rabbi Hanina Mendoza. How he told his daughter, "Don't worry, God who said oil burn will let vinegar burn." And Hanina Mendoza, the snake was killing everybody, and the snake bit Rabbi Hanina Mendoza, and the snake died. Many miracles. Very accustomed to have miracles in the house. So Rabbi Hanina's wife trusted Hashem so much that Hashem would make her a miracle to hide her embarrassment. And this is a high level of trust, but it's not perfect. Why? Because Rabbi Hanina's wife went to the other room without saying anything. If she really had high-level trust, she would have already said, I'm going to go get the shovel before she went to the other room. And that's what the highest level is. They cried to you and they were delivered. They trusted you and they were not ashamed. What does it mean they were not ashamed? He says that they were not even scared. They spoke with so much emunah and they believed the miracle will happen. They spoke about it before it happened and they're not scared that they're going to get embarrassed. I'll speak now and I won't be scared if I'll be embarrassed later that it didn't come true what I said, because I have so much trust in Hashem. I'm already talking, as I'm manifesting as if it's going to happen. So therefore that's what it means. They cried to you and they were not ashamed. This brings a story from Rav Moshe Galanti, alav shalom, who was the teacher of the Pri Hadash. He was a big Mekubal. So in Israel, during the winter is when it's supposed to rain. So and there being that year was very dry. There was almost no rain to fill the empty wells. So then the Jews, the Muslims, the Christians, everyone who lived there, they all prayed together. They all prayed. They told everybody, pray, we need rain, we need rain. And it looked like the gates in heaven were locked, and they were going to die of thirst. They needed water. So then there was a pasha at that time. There was under Turkish rule. So then they informed Rav Moshe Galanti that we believe it's the Jews' fault. The Jews' fault why there's no water. If they're really the chosen people, God would have heard your prayers. So therefore, he wanted to force the Jews to pray. He says if the Jews do not bring the rain in 3 days, they don't pray, they'll be expelled from Jerusalem. So the Rav Moshe Galanti fasted for 3 days, and they cried and prayed day and night. On the third day, the rabbi told everybody to come with him to the kever of Rabbi Shimon Sadiq to go pray for rain. They went and they said, bring coats and umbrellas and everything. We're going to see it's going to rain. So then the Jews left the city, and the guard of the gate, he saw how everybody's leaving to the Beit HaKabarot. He says, you kidding me? You think it's going to rain? You guys are all wearing all these coats and rain gear. You joke? All winter it didn't rain. And he said, don't pay attention to them. They went. He laid down on the grave of Rabbi Shimon Sadiq, and he cried to Hashem that it should rain. All of a sudden, a huge wind came. All the olives started falling off the olive trees, and dark clouds came, and he prayed, and a huge rain came. They celebrated for days and days and days. All the Muslims and the Christians came, and they said, you see, the Jewish people are the chosen people. You see, and the guard who laughed at them before, he says, I want to convert now. Can I convert? So therefore, what? You see that this is another flavor of what it means. They trusted you. They were not ashamed. People made fun of them. He says, I don't care. I'm not ashamed. I trust in Hashem. I'll wear rain gear even though everybody thinks it's not going to rain. And he prayed and he got answers. So therefore, you see how a person, when he trusts, the zuchud of the trust, having trust in Hashem, and that itself brings the Geulah. That's why the Or Chaim Kadosh says that Moshe Rabbeinu told Nachshon ben Aminadav, right, told the Jewish people, we have to go in the water. Nachshon ben Aminadav jumped first, and the Gemara says that he went until it was till his neck. Only when it was till his neck, then the water split. To show you that you had to believe that the water will split, you had to go all the way till your neck. Only when Hashem saw you had real trust, that's when he made the miracle. That's when he opened it up, because that's the emunah itself is a zechut. The emunah itself, as they said, the Or Chaim Kadosh says over there that the angels of Shamayim were saying Elu Avdah Zarah and Elu Avdei Avdah Zarah. The Jewish people in Egypt were serving Avodah Zarah. The Egyptians in Mitzrayim were serving Avodah Zarah. So why should I do a miracle for these more than these? So Hashem told Moshe. Moshe was saying, the Jews are complaining. What are we going to do? Hashem told them, Esau, go, start going. So what do you mean, we'll start going? The water's there. No, go. B'zchut that you go in the water, that now the balance will be tipped in your favor because you have the zechut of trusting in Hashem. The Gemara says that Shammai and Hillel have an argument. Shammai said all his days he ate to honor the Shabbat. He found a nice cow. He said this is for Shabbat. If he found a nicer cow, he would leave the second one for Shabbat, and he would eat the first one during the week. But Hillel, he said different. He said, no, if Hashem brought me a nice cow today, he'll bring me something nice for Shabbat. He said, there's no point in saving it now. Just like Hashem gave me now, he'll give me later. So, what? And the Gemara says, and Hillel did all his deeds, L'Shem Shamayim. He did everything L'Shem Shamayim for the sake of heaven. What? And Ben Ishai asks, and what? Bet Shammai didn't do L'Shem Shamayim, only Hillel did L'Shem Shamayim. So what does this mean? It says the Shammai, he honored Shabbat tremendously. From Sunday, he was already thinking about Shabbat. If he found a good one, good. But if he found a better one, he'll keep it for Shabbat. But Hillel, he says, that's nice. That's ishtadlut. I'm not relying on ishtadlut. I'm relying on Hashem. I want Hashem to bring it to me. So therefore, all week he ate usual without saving anything for Shabbat, and then he relied on Hashem to send him a fine animal on Friday for the holy day. Hillel could have learned from Shammai to do Ishtadlut. He says, but I don't want to do that because I think that then I'll think my Ishtadlut is what gave it to me. I don't want it that it should be my Ishtadlut gave it to me. I wanted that should come from Hashem. So therefore, that's why he did what he did. But now, the Gemara says afterwards, though, in Masechet Brachot, that Hillel was coming down the road one day, and he heard screaming in the town. And he says, I am sure it's not from my house, because if you hear somebody's dying, maybe it's from your house, you don't know. No, he says, I'm not afraid. Why? Because as a pasuk says in Tehillim, Kuf Yud Bet, he shall not fear evil, his heart is steadfast, trusting in Hashem. So meaning if you have trust in Hashem, you know evil is not going to come to you. So how could he be so confident that I know it's not from my house, this screaming? So maybe he should have been quiet and wait till he got to the house. And if he would have spoken like this and take a sweet time and then got home and he saw that it's not true, that it is in his house, he'd be embarrassed. Why you take so long to get here? But says the Ben Ish Chai that Hillel was on the level that we said before. That when he spoke, he wasn't scared of getting embarrassed. He was so much emunah in Hashem, he was already able to manifest. He was able to say, I know it's not from my house, and that's what caused it to be not from his house. Because he was able to speak on such a level, therefore a person who has emunah, you can tell from how he speaks. If a guy who has no emunah, you can tell from how he speaks also. No, I don't know, chobuditzi, I don't know, we'll see, who says, maybe, if. There's two people. There's a guy who says, here, I serve you the food. Was the food good? The food is good, right? Or the guy could say, food was bad, right? All depends on how you put it in your mind. Whatever you put in your mind, that's what's going to be, as the Ben Ish Chai says. So if you have emunah and you speak with emunah, like Hillel, because he said it, that's why it wasn't in his house. But if he would have said, it's probably from my house, so then it would have been from his house, the Ben Ish Chai says. So a person has to be very careful how he speaks, and because the way you speak is the way it's going to be. They say, someone told me once, abracadabra is abra kedabra. I will create as I speak. Abracadabra. It's interesting. So the way you speak, it changes the world.